Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. I'm here with a couple of guys on our team, Nathan Caldwell from our marketing department and Randy Crockett, our chief financial officer here at Raven. So before we get started, as some quick housekeeping, if you're not familiar with Raven Automation, just take a moment to just tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. Raven Automation is essentially your provider to help get your AI and automation initiatives off the ground. We work in a variety of tools like Roost, Power Automate, Claude, ChatGPT, you name it, our team can pretty much support it. With that, let's jump into today's topic, the top 5 best uses of AI in B2B apps and which tools are getting AI right. With that, I'm going to hand this over to Nathan. As I said, Nathan's from our marketing department. And I think he's got a few things that he wants to show us today. So Nathan, for someone like myself who writes much better code than I do marketing content, why don't you show me how you're using some AI today?
Yeah, so what we're really going to be getting into today is we're taking a look at a few business apps that are quite popular, and whether you use these ones specifically or not, the premise of what we're going to show you today, we will show specific demos of how to take advantage of AI in these particular apps today. But what we want to get to is an understanding where whether you're using this software or another software, you want to be thinking about how to take advantage of AI and the tools that are available in that software. And the reality is that so many software solutions are out there just riffing on AI like crazy, and the features that they're bringing out to the users is just like, it's coming at us at a really fast pace, so fast that they're even having a hard time communicating like what new features are available and what you're able to do that's out there. And so sometimes you'll wake up one morning, you'll pull open an app, and all of a sudden all of the buttons that you thought were in one location are in a different location, and you're looking for ways to do the same thing that you've done day to day. And so the message is clear, or the message needs to be clear, that we are in an era where things are going to keep changing rapidly. And so you want to have the mindset of, how do I take advantage of these new changes? How do I explore? How do I get the skills that I need in order to keep on keeping up with all of the new releases and things like that? So even from these few solutions that I'm going to show you, so I'm going to take on the software. It's called Noda. Some people pronounce it Nada, but I'll show you how to take advantage of transcription services and how to use AI there, so you can amplify your ability to create great content. I'll also show you what's going on in Canva. It does have some AI for image creation and graphics. I'm going to show you something a little bit different today. It's going to be a little more complex than just asking the tool itself to create an image. And so I'll show you what that is today. Then I'll get into Excel a little bit, because there are some new features in Excel that just make it so much more user friendly. I'm going to raise my hand when I ask this question. Who is not an amazing Excel formula creator? That's me. Oh man, Excel formulas, it's like you have to go to school just to figure out which formula you need to get the tool to do the work it's supposed to be able to do. And so I'm going to show you how finally, Microsoft has come out with some easy to use AI so that you can take advantage of Copilot and just tell it what you need it to do and not have to go through tons of Google searching and testing and trying and finding it's not doing what you want it to do. And then after that, Randy's going to take over. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jared.
You know, I can't help but notice, Randy, when we were talking about who knows Excel spreadsheets and formulas like this, that you threw your hand up there too. You mean to tell me a finance guy doesn't know everything there is to know about Excel?
I do not. That's exactly one of the really big benefits of AI is, I use Excel on a daily basis. I have lots of large Excel files, but, I'm sure as Nathan goes through it, you don't need to be an Excel expert anymore. You can really do it with AI, and it knows far more than even I know on how to get into the nitty gritty and really produce kind of what you're looking for without having to spend hours. Okay, now how do I do that formula again? Or what's that process? Or as Nathan would say, process.
You got me. See, Randy knows I'm from Canada. I grew up in Canada. So I say things a little bit differently, like tomorrow or borrow or sorry. But, hey, it's that little difference that makes the world go round, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's jump right in. And so, Randy, I was just kind of about to toss the mic to you. Give people a heads up on what you'll be covering in your demos.
Yeah, really building on kind of the foundation you set. The tools that we use today are continuously and just regularly evolving with the AI and AI frontier that's hitting us on an everyday basis. So many of you have probably heard of Bill.com. They are a prime example of digging into the AI universe, some of the tools and functions there. We'll get into that a little bit. Then I just want to step back and just look at some of the tools that we use every day. I just recently came across some functions and features in Copilot. I'll kind of go over that. And then just, using Claude and some of the tools right inside your browser. And what can you do with that to enhance your day-to-day operation in life?
Awesome. Absolutely. So appreciate that. And so let's jump right into it. Hey, everyone, if you're in this and you have some questions, we do have our Q&A open here in GoToWebinar. Jared's going to be actively watching the Q&A. So if something comes in and he finds a spot to interrupt us and get those questions asked, please feel free to get interactive. Now, this isn't meant to be an exhaustive webinar where we're showing you everything to do in every one of these solutions with AI, but we are going to show you some of our faves, and we want to also encourage you that this is meant to spark some excitement, spark some interest, get you out there exploring as well, but do it safely. So you don't want to be sharing sensitive data out there. So here we go. Let's start with Noda. And for this one, I'm just going to jump through and show some screenshots. When I move into the Canva example in the Excel, I'm actually going to be in the software. But what I want to show from Noda is it's about $98 per year for the membership. And the way that I recommend using it is to get, this is for transcription services. And so whether it's going to be this webinar that we're recording, that we're going to upload the recording into Noda to get an effective transcript. But what I want to show you is you can use it for any video recording. You could have a meeting that you record and you upload here and you get the transcript. The cool thing about this is that you can get multiple outputs from Noda that become extremely helpful in doing multiple different tasks within your organization. And I'll get to those in just a moment, but I want to key in on some actual step-by-step things you'll want to do with this in order to get effective output. And so loading the transcript in, then from there, you would want to select how many people are in the video. And you can see that down there at identify speakers, the two-person meeting. So then I would upload and transcribe it. It would do the work to transcribe it. It would let me know when it's ready. And then at the end, it gives you a preview of the script, of the transcript, and it assigns it speaker 1 and speaker 2. From there, you can apply to all speaker 1, whoever it is that's speaking. So when we do this video and we load it into Noda, we're going to tell it that there's 3 people in the meeting. Jared was the first one to speak, so it would identify him as speaker 1, and I could select Jared's name, speaker 1, and then say assign to all speaker 1. And then throughout the transcript, every time speaker 1 speaks, which is Jared, it's going to assign his name to it. So that's very powerful. That's very powerful, because then you're getting your internal content that your team is producing, just like our team is producing this webinar, and you're associating whatever is said by that individual to that individual. And that is powerful for creating content afterwards. And so what we end up doing is also taking the transcript and using AI to create blogs out of the topic. And then it can reference the specific things that are said from our team. Now that's one use. Another use would be if you're recording meetings or even an interview. So if I called a meeting with Jared and Randy and I said, hey, we have some new offerings coming out from Raven Automation that we're excited for our customers to know about. I need you to both just tell me everything we need to know. And I hit record on that meeting and they share all of the details. And then I can use that transcript, load it in, assign who the speakers are, and then take that transcript, load it into AI and ask it to craft a Q&A log of the FAQs, the most asked questions that might come up from the new offering that we're presenting. And then if I load it, if I save it in SharePoint or I save it in OneDrive, and our instance of Copilot has access to that, well, then I can open it up as well to anybody on our team who's speaking to a prospect or to a client who needs to know about this offering. They can go to Copilot, they can ask questions of Copilot, and Copilot can find that document, find those answers, and source it up to them. So multiple use cases of taking your internal content, your internal people, interviewing them, meeting with them, or recording webinars like this, and then getting into a very powerful transcription service, much like Noda, and getting it pulled out into a Word doc that is transcribed. Now, what I want to show you too is that's just a couple of use cases. What I also want to show you, so we talked about blogs, we talked about company-specific searchable database so that people can get answers to the questions they have on a given topic. And this is, I want to just make another point here, that this is very powerful because it is much easier and realistic for me to put 30 minutes on the calendar with Jared and Randy and record a meeting with them and get a transcript and get my questions answered, rather than go through a long process of publishing documents of those Q&A. You know, like I would find that it would take a lot longer to get on Jared and Randy's calendar saying like, hey, can you guys each draft up a Word doc that covers all the questions that you can predict that somebody would ask, rather than 30 minutes, let's sit down, I'm gonna hit record, start talking, cameras rolling, let's get through this info. Let's get it all from your head out onto this video. So huge, huge, huge advantage for documenting and capturing what we often call tribal knowledge that people are keeping in their heads, and getting it out into searchable documents for your teams. The third thing with transcripts that is powerful, okay? Who knows what the biggest search engine is in the world? Anybody? Jared, Randy?
ChatGPT.
Pardon?
ChatGPT.
I love the humor. It has historically been Google, because it's a search engine, but yes, ChatGPT is coming up the ranks. But also YouTube is like the second largest search, and also ChatGPT is referencing a ton of YouTube videos as authority to share back answers and to cite that info. And so here's where a powerful kind of that expression of you're leaving a lot on the table if you don't do this is, for example, for this webinar that we're recording, I'm going to take it, I'm going to load it into Noda, I'm going to get that transcript, and then I'm going to download a transcript specific file. It's got its own little, you know, .trf or something like that, that YouTube will accept as a typed up transcript. And so you save a ton of time, so you don't have to go in, you don't have to put it straight, like type it into YouTube and set all the timings and all of that. And it will become more accurate rather than relying on YouTube to do it, because the reason why I say it will be more accurate is because you have an opportunity at this stage before you download it to go in and correct things. That's powerful because you want the transcript to spell your company name correctly with your preferred spacing and capitalization and all of that. You want it to also capitalize and spell correctly any brand names that you bring up, whether it's ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot or anything like that, because then it is going to, when people Google for it or they search for it or they ask ChatGPT about it, if your transcript is accurate and it has the correct spelling, then you are going to show up better in those search results. And so you want your transcript to be accurate. You have the opportunity to edit at this stage before you download it, but then you can upload that transcript. And like I said, we'll do this with this webinar where we'll upload it to the Raven YouTube channel, and I will take that transcript from Noda and I will upload it as the official transcript attached to that video. And so now it becomes all of our text, everything we're saying right now. If I say ChatGPT 100 times during this webinar, it's going to be like, whoa, this video is really chock full of stuff about ChatGPT. We bet if somebody's looking for stuff about ChatGPT, we better source it. And so this is key for keywords and searchability that you want to be able to do. All right, so that's a few things.
I'm gonna throw out another thing here, Nathan, if you don't mind. Personally, transcripts, there's so much more that we can do with those. And I use transcripts from just meeting with our team members on a daily basis to handle things like, well, first and foremost, you've seen my schedule. Sometimes I meet with someone and don't immediately get to document what we talked about right then and there. So those transcripts are super helpful when it comes time to document content from one-on-one conversations, employee counseling sessions, and things like that, to make sure that I don't miss any detail that I need to log for the development of that team member too. So that's another really powerful way that these transcripts can be used as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so a little bit about that. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen where it comes to the PowerPoint, and I'm going to jump right into showing you a little bit about Canva. And so Canva, if you're familiar, is a really neat editing software. It's an online app. You can, and I'll go ahead and show you the pricing structure. So a lot of people use this for marketing material, for creating social media imagery, for creating PowerPoint, for creating any design work really. But there's a lot of other uses for Canva, and I want to show you a powerful one that I really have not heard anyone talk about within Canva. And so I'll show that to you. But just to start off, here's a little bit about plans and pricing for Canva. There's a free version, it's $0. Then there's the pro version, and business and enterprise. Now, here's the thing you need to see. Really, to take advantage of AI, you want at least the pro version. And as you can see, there is, as far as like AI allowance, gives you 10 times more AI than Canva free. And then also you're going to be getting soon Canva AI 2.0, Canva AI connectors. And so there's really a lot more that can be done with Canva when you get to this stage of the game. And so that's the version that I'm on. That's what I'll be showing you a couple things with to start. Now, something else you may have noticed is if you have Copilot and you go into Copilot, you may start seeing this thing called agents, and that Copilot is actually connecting into a bunch of different software tools and apps that you may use in your day. You might notice that Canva is one of those. Here's what I'll say from my personal experience. I don't like it yet. I don't like the going into Copilot and using Canva here. It's like I'll ask it to do something, to create something, and then it'll just do text and copy and then say, well, do you want me to create a graphic for you in Canva? It's like, yeah, that's why I asked you to do it in the first place, man. Come on, you're not saving me time yet. So what we're gonna do, and what I recommend, is go straight to Canva. To me, it's not there yet. This connector that's supposed to like, oh, one-stop shop, start in Copilot and get anywhere you need to be and get anything done. I don't like it. You can request it, it'll create something, and then you still have to request for it to show up in your Canva account if you want to go further and make any tweaks and changes. And so I'm going to show you real quick in our Canva home. I did ask it to create something recently, and it didn't take into account any like nice design work or anything like that. Are you seeing this? Just your invited live webinar, really great site.com. Like this is not interesting. I don't like it. So I would much rather start in Canva and get closer to what I want from the beginning. All right, so let's actually get into Canva. This is typically where you land your home, and you'll see your projects and things like that. It'll have your search bar up top. Where we want to go for this demo and to show you some particularly powerful items is down here on the left column. There is Canva AI. At the very beginning of this webinar, I had mentioned, hey, you wake up one day, you go in, all the buttons are moved around. There used to be an option up here for Canva AI as well, and now it's just down at the left-hand column. So when I click on Canva AI, you're going to notice that you have the ability to design something, to create an image, to write a doc, to use code, or do a video clip. Now, I'll just make quick mention, the doc, it's pretty much like Copilot, ChatGPT, Claude, when you're in a Word doc and you want it to help you create copy. It's fine. I don't find it particularly powerful. But what I want to show you that is particularly powerful is coding with Canva. Now you might be thinking, Canva doesn't seem like the place I would go to code. However, I think it should be if your final result is something that you want to look very nice. If you want it to have a heavier design output than functionality output, you have simple functionality, but you want it to look really nice, man, Canva is a cool place to experiment with. And so let's go ahead and click on code. And this is my prompt. I'm just going to ask it to create a pricing calculator for a photographer. Very simple prompt. I didn't give it a lot of details, but you're going to see that it does a lot of thinking and it does a lot of coding. And so we're going to hit start on that. And so, all right, I'm going to create a sleek pricing calculator for a photographer with package options and add-ons. So you can see that it's coding, it's generating a whole bunch of lines of code. I can be hands off. I can go do something else while it's running. And so really what I'm going to do though is we're going to save a little bit of time in the demo world, and we're going to flash forward to what it actually creates. And so this is what it comes up in, and you can see that, hey, this looks pretty good. Like the design of it, the look, it's sleek. I mean, I could see myself going to a photographer's website and this be the pricing calculator and feel confident that they're going to produce good quality photos. Because if you think about that, like when it comes to choosing a photographer, aren't you going to like judge all of their visuals on their website and build confidence if you think they can do the job of capturing your handsomeness or the beauty of your spouse or your children? Like, you wouldn't want to go to a website that looks really busted, like, you know, the 1990s Space Jam website, and be like, I am trusting the photos of my children in this person's hand. You need that design look. And so this is what it created. And then you can go ahead and hit publish. Now, when you publish it, Canva will actually give you a website, a URL for free. You don't have to go to GoDaddy or another website. You can get that. But if you want a custom website location, then you are paying for that. And look, I'm going to go ahead and click on the show code button so that if you are a coder and you want to make changes to the code, you can click over to that and you can see all of the code that's used to create this. But they also allow you to use plain language in order to change things. And so what I want to show though is, you know, for demo's sake and for time's sake, I'm going to be happy with what they showed me and I'm going to publish it. And I did this earlier and I got the website. And so this is actually the website that it created for me. And so I can select the mini session. Maybe I want drone shots as well. And so all of a sudden there's my quote, but guess what? That didn't do anything for me. Like, it gives the customer a quote, but it's not taking them anywhere. It's not allowing them to say, yes, I agree to the quote, or I want to use this photographer. So here's what I want to do. I want to go back in to where it was first prompted and built. And I'm going to add another prompt in there for it to change some things. So I'm saying add a request session button. Have the request session button open the user's preferred email browser and populate the email with the entire summary of what the customer is requesting. Fill in the to address to be, and that's my Gmail address, and fill in the subject to be photography session request. All right, so that's what I want to happen. I want it to add a button at the bottom that says request session, and I want it to open up an email that already populates everything that that person just selected. So I'm going to hit submit to that, and it's going to think. And so it's thinking and thinking. And the power of this is thinking about how, like we talked about this at the beginning of the webinar, how can you keep using AI? What can you do to make things easier? With this effort, it's what can I do to make things easier for the people who visit this site and use that. Okay, so there's the request session button. It came to the bottom, and let's go ahead and click on it. Oh, and it won't do that because it's in the, oh, there we go. Popped it up. Okay, well, it said 0 because I didn't select anything. But look, it did pre-populate my email address. It did pre-populate the subject, photography session request, and then estimated total here. And then look at what else it filled in though. Please let me know the dates and times available for this session. So the client is sending this email to me, the photographer, and saying like, hey, here's what I want to do. Let me know the dates and options. But obviously I messed up and I didn't do the time. So let's try this again, okay? So we're going to select the mini session. We're going to select drone shots. I want some sweet drone shots while we're getting our photos taken. And then I'm a photography diva, so I know I need some extra hours above and beyond that package. So let's go ahead and request that session again. Boom, it popped up. Look at how quick that did it too. Extra hours 3, total 810. It got all that info right. Let me know the dates and times available for this session, and then you would hit send and you'd get that info. So just a few quick things there. as far as Canva goes. And now I want to jump over. Any questions or thoughts or reaction to the whole Canva stuff, guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great example of just some quick, easy wins. You're doing some quick vibe coding to kind of put a kind of a minimal viable product out there that you can, use. And it really leads right into kind of the next session we have coming up next month is vibe coding, right? And should we be vibe coding? And what are the benefits? What are the risks? So I encourage anyone to tune into that session and get some more information on how, the state of vibe coding today and how to use it and the risks involved. Jared, when is that?
I don't know that we have a date decided on that one just yet.
Yeah, we have a date, and at the end of the webinar, there's going to be a QR code where people can go ahead and register right away for it as well.
Perfect. But what a great example of just a quick, easy win using AI to really enhance your product and, visibility into kind of what you do. It's really good.
Yeah, and even if you don't want to take it on yourself to get hey, I like that, I want it on my website, I'm nervous, I don't know how to take it and get it over there and all that sort of stuff, I'm going to meet with my web designer and show them, hey, when I ask you for a pricing calculator, this is what I want. And you've already gone through all the back and forth with your own native language to say, hey, switch this up, make this change, so that you aren't just waiting on someone else to do that work and charging you for the hours.
With a little bit of copy and paste of, hitting that show code, copy what's there into a notepad file, you can send that to your web developer and they'll already have the code that you're looking for right there that they can look at, improve, incorporate into your existing site. So pretty powerful. No idea that Canva had that feature.
Well, I'm glad to knock your socks off, Jared. All right, let's move into Excel and what's going on with Copilot here in Excel. So these are going to be a couple of micro demos, but to me, these are so fantastic now because I've dealt with this same problem so many times. And this is fake data, but you can see that it is typical data of sometimes what you would get from an event or a registration of an in-person event or a conference. Jared, what are some of the conferences that Raven goes to?
Let's see. We're usually at Right of Boom in February. We go to the Flow conference every summer. We've got MSP GeekCon that we'll be at next month.
Yeah, and so you go there, people stop by the booth, you have great conversations, and at these events, you say things like, hey, can I scan your badge? People are like, of course you can. I want to talk to you, Jared. I want you calling me. We got to set up an appointment. And then you get home and you download all of the badges that you've scanned. And it comes to you in this weird Excel spreadsheet of just one column of first name, last name, city, and state. And it probably would even include phone number and email and all that sort of stuff, right? And you're like, ah, great. Now I have to go through and I gotta separate the first name from the last name, from the city, from the state, and do all that work. Now, before we talked about, hey, you gotta be an expert in Excel formulas. And even the Excel formulas, though, have some nuance that can be really tricky and frustrating. Because sometimes when it comes to copy like this, the formula requires a pattern, such as, oh, I can separate it for you, Nathan. And it teases you a little bit, yeah, I can totally do that. But you have to show me that there's a comma or there's a space between the info you want to separate. And so it works okay for the first one, Emma, space. Okay, that's first name. It'll split it into one column with my formula. Or then Rodriguez, space. Great, last name is taken care of. Austin, space. Okay, city's taken care of. And then Texas. Okay, that one worked. But then we get into a place called Cedar Rapids, a two-word city. And all of a sudden, if there's a space between Cedar and Rapids, you're getting errors in your because of that formula. And it's going to go first name space, last name space, Cedar as the city space, and then all of a sudden error or Rapids as the state. And you're like, nuts. Now I have to go back through and edit all this. Now we have Copilot being able to understand our requests. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit Copilot, and I'm going to take my prompt. That's super simple, plain language. I didn't have to do any Googling to get this formula. And I'm putting in, sort this data into 4 separate columns: first name, last name, city, state. And I'm going to say go. Oh, it feels so good to be able to do this finally, because there are many times where I've sat with data in an Excel spreadsheet before needing to load it into a CRM, you know, and like HubSpot or whatever, and having so many errors. And so it's taken a minute, but man, not as long as it would take me to have to go through this and even correct the errors. Oh, and look at what it did for us. Look at what it did for us. There's a column with first name, last name, city, and state. I even like that it bolded the headings of first name, last name, city, and state. Now, here's what it also did. Okay. Note, the city names appear exactly as they were in the original data. Some have spaces like San Diego and Salt Lake City, while others are concatenated. Never heard that word, so thank you, Copilot, for educating me on some big words today. Without spaces like Cedar Rapids and Santa Fe. This reflects the original source data format. If you'd like me to try to add spaces to the concatenated city names, let me know. And if I'm butchering that word, it's because that's how we pronounce it in Canada, okay? And so I like that callback there, a little callback joke to earlier. All right, so yeah, fix the city names. I'm going to just tell it that. And I love that it noticed that. Okay, so let's continue without saving. I don't want to save it yet. So
Nathan,
Copilot's going to think.
Can you zoom in on that a little bit more so we can see the details a little bit on that?
Unfortunately, let's
probably.
See.
This is major. You know, historically, a lot of LLMs really struggled with processing data inside of a spreadsheet. They were great with Word docs, PDFs, and things like that, but working with spreadsheets was always a pain point for a lot of LLMs. So seeing this functionality now just kind of really shows how much advancement that we've seen in AI in a really short period of time.
Mm-hmm. And look at what it did. So it said the city names have been fixed. Here's a summary of the corrections made. Cedar Rapids is now Cedar space Rapids. Grand Rapids is now Grand space Rapids. And that's awesome. It even got this one right. Port St. Lucie. Like, we really tried to throw one over on Copilot here by giving it a 3-word city name. So that's a real quick look into this, that Copilot can take plain language requests within Excel and formulate it. Now, I know I'm taking a look at the time. I had a couple more things to show in Excel. I'll just tell you that it can also do plain language requests if you have data. So if you have numbers where, like, you know, quantity plus unit price, you can just ask it to do the formula, create a new column that has revenue column that multiplies the units by unit price for each row and fill it down. And then you aren't like trying to copy formulas into each cell and all that sort of stuff. You can also do some more deep reasoning if you do this. And so I'm going to show you one other thing rather quickly. If you go to the actual Copilot, so copilot.com or Microsoft365.com, you're going to get the Copilot chat window as your landing where you're going to be. And then you can go to, remember I showed you agents before and I said, on the Canva agent, but not so much on the Excel agent. So you would click on agents, you would click on Excel, and then you can say things like this, okay? I'm gonna get my prompt here. I'm a sales manager trying to understand our sales performance, analyze this data and show top sales by product line. And then I'm gonna actually upload a spreadsheet here. And so this is a Excel spreadsheet of candy sales, raw copy. So it's just all kinds of data. I'm gonna open it, I'm gonna load it. It does a good job to let me know that it's going to be added to OneDrive. That's helpful to know if I'm like dealing with sensitive data and I don't want it loaded there, then I get that warning, but let's hit go. And so I'm just telling it to add one tab, which shows top sales by product line, add a third tab, which analyzes sales by geographic region, and then Excel will run and do that for you. All right, so what specific metrics do you want to emphasize? Let's do total sales revenue, and let's go. So it's going to think for a bit, making sure that it understands my request, pulling things together. So I think the only thing that's missing right now that Copilot really needs to jump on is like your preferred hold music. Because some of these times you will be waiting a little bit. And if you can like say, oh yeah, kind of like when you get on certain roller coasters now, you can like choose or select which rock song you want to be playing in your speakers while you ride. I think that's what Copilot needs to bring out next.
Well, while this is running, I'll point out another really nice use case is, what if you're working with an Excel document that has thousands of rows and you've got contacts and company names, right? And you're really looking to merge all of those down into single companies. This is another really common thing that we see is you may have, Acme Corp listed as just Acme Corp with no period. They may have a period at the end. They may say Acme Corporation, right? But they're all the same company. And you can leverage Copilot to read all of those and identify those duplicate companies so that you can help keep your records clean and merge all of that together. Really, really helpful time-saving thing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so, yeah, I apologize that this is taking a bit. Maybe we can, Randy, we can jump over to you for your demos and then maybe circle back when this is ready to go. So I'm going to turn it over to Randy. You should be able to take over as presenter now.
Yeah, do you want? I think you have the PowerPoint for the bill.com slides, or
my apologies. Yep, I'll pull that up right now. So I'll share my screen, and you just let me know when you want me to adjust.
Fantastic, fantastic. I won't take a lot of time here. I just want to share some of the things, kind of building off what the premise you kind of said at the beginning. The tools that we use every day are constantly evolving with AI, and it's really impressive. One of the tools that we use on a regular basis, you've probably heard of this, is Bill.com. Bill.com is a powerful platform for paying your bills. It really speeds up your back office and finance team in regards to bill payment. They also have some other features and functions that are pretty helpful as well. They have a credit card company called Divvy, which can really speed up your expense management process. If you're looking into that, I'd highly recommend taking a look at that. But we use Bill.com on a regular basis. Before we had Bill.com, or before it evolved in some of these advanced AI features, we'd be putting all of our bills in manually. We'd have to get in and who's the payer, who we paying, and then coding each of the different invoices to different GL entries. Is this for our services? Is this a COG? Is this an expense? Is this for kind of what are we using it for? And it'd have to be very much a manual process. And the process of creating these invoices was pretty cumbersome. Bill.com has incorporated AI, it's really sped up that process. If you want to go kind of the next slide, we'll talk about that a little bit. So some of the primary challenges in how it was before is, really efficiency, accuracy, doing it manually, making sure you're putting in the right companies, things of that nature, and security. So with automation, go to the next slide there. It's able to take those invoices, you kind of ingest them now. It's able to OCR or read those optically and really parse out the data, parse out the information, who the payer is, what the line item amounts are, what that expense is. And with AI, it's able to kind of reason through that now, and it's able to learn based on historical processing. There's a vendor you use regular basis that typically goes to a specific GL. It will ingest that, recognize the company name, recognize what the invoice is for, extract that data, and put it into the right category. Now, for those that have been around a while, like myself, who started with the beginnings of OCR, optical recognition, basically scanning and reading through that, it was a bit of a challenge. It would sometimes get it right. It was, really rudimentary at best. It's come a long way through AI nowadays. It's really, really accurate, really efficient, fewer errors, faster processing, and really a substantial cost savings in regards to its accuracy and in regards to the productivity of your team, actually your accounts payable team, saving substantial amounts of time. And so,
Randy, just a real quick thing. It's my understanding that it used to be that you had to do this as a separate exercise in a separate app or solution. So you get like a PDF invoice, and then it's like, oh, let's put it into OCR, have it read,
get the data
it in a different way where it can actually read and edit. Then you put it back into your bill payment software. So now it's like cutting out the middleman, and it's doing this, but it's within the single process. And so again, big time savings and less jumping from solution to solution to try and solve this.
You got it. Yeah. Bill.com integrates directly with your tool. We use QuickBooks. We actually use QuickBooks Desktop, which is notoriously hard to integrate with. But Bill.com, through their platform, you do it all in Bill.com. It syncs those invoices back to QuickBooks or whatever your platform may be. One pane of glass that you have to work with. Historical data is all in there. Works really, really well, saving lots of time and effort. Really good point. Fantastic. So let me jump over to kind of some other use cases that I found. Kind of just as you mentioned, Nathan, our tools are constantly evolving. One of the things I just recently came across, and you can go ahead and share your screen with me, is even in Copilot, the Microsoft tool, the tools are constantly evolving. Just recently, they've added some co-work features, some co-work functions from Claude, integrating some of their the tools that are out there in some other AI platforms. Let me share this window, Google Chrome. Make sure you guys are able to see that.
Yep, we're seeing Copilot right now. Yeah.
Perfect. So one of the things that I just recently ran across is how much of a challenge it is trying to schedule an appointment with one of your coworkers. Like, you got to go through their calendar, do scheduling assistant, find out when am I available, when are they available. Now, using Copilot, the simple prompt, you can actually have it create the calendar invite for you, check both you and your coworker's screen, and to show you times that are available. So I'm just going to copy and paste here real quick, right in my Copilot. I'm going to say, hey, I want to meet with Nathan. Will you check my calendar and schedule a time that works for both of us? Now, one of the advantages, or one way to get your AI or your LMM to work really more efficiently for you, is becoming better at your prompts. But I just want to show, with just a basic prompt, not a whole lot of data, it can reason through and kind of figure out. So I actually didn't tell it which Nathan I was trying to set up a time with. Let's see if it can figure out who you are, Nathan. So it's going to search for you. It's kind of first thing it's going to do. I didn't put in your last name. Let's see if it can figure out which Nathan in our company it's trying to set up an appointment with. Okay, look, both calendars are open, figured out who you are, shows your availability right here in Copilot. I could just pick a time. I'm going to say, hey, let's do Tuesday, 3:30, works for both of us. Send the invite option 1, and it's going to quickly send it out. Done. Now we have something on both of our calendars, and I don't have to go through the scheduling assistant. I can do it right as I'm chatting with other things. I can actually do it right in line with the conversation I'm having about the conversation or topic that I want to have with you. Sent the invite, gave me a summary, all right in Copilot. That blew my mind. I was amazed by that when I found that out a couple of weeks ago. It's something I hadn't learned. So our tools are constantly evolving there.
And I just got the chime that I got a new meeting invite. So pardon me, guys, while I go answer that.
Right? It's amazing. Constant evolution.
Who needs
Another function. What's that, Jared?
I said, who needs executive assistants anymore, right?
Really, so much of it can be done right in our GPTs or our tools that we're constantly using on a regular basis. Absolutely.
And just the thought process behind this, like, of course, in this demo, you're just showing like, hey, how do I find time with one person? But imagine you're having to do it's like finding time with one person. You could probably do it just as quick by looking at our calendars, right? Oh, there's a spot, I'll pick it. But if you're trying to schedule it with 12 people, then you got like a line and wait, that person's not available. This is so much quicker.
Oh yeah.
Well, and if you're chatting about it, you're trying to come up with your agenda. You're having a conversation. I use Copilot to come up with all my meeting agendas. So I've got the meeting agenda. I can say, hey, all right, now create the meeting invite with me, Nathan, and create this meeting agenda in that invite. It'll put it right in there, right? I don't have to copy it into my email and paste it. It's all right in the same flow that I'm using to build out my meeting agenda, kind of the things I want to talk about, my meeting notes, all that right there in one location. Makes it so much simpler. Another use case, another tool that I use on a regular basis is I use Chrome. A lot of people use different browsers, but in Chrome, Claude now has integration where you can actually interact with the page that you're working on. So I brought up a page here about MCPs. MCPs, are a very technical term for plugging your LMM or your AI tool into other tools to interact with. So I purposely brought up a really technical document. I'm not a super technical guy. You look through here, it's got all sorts of stuff. And I'm like, oh man, I really want to understand what an MCP is and what I can do with it. So by adding the add-on, the Claude add-on, I could just come to here and I could say, I'm just going to copy and paste my prompt in here. Again, it's a very basic prompt. The more specific you get with a prompt, the better output you're going to be. But even with just a basic prompt, hey, it's a very technical document. Will you break this down for me in simple, I even spelt that wrong, non-technical terms. You don't even have to spell correctly anymore. It kind of figures it out, which is good for me because I'm a terrible speller, if anyone knows me. So it's just kind of work through this. It's going to look at the plan. You could say, yes, I agree with the plan. This is just a basic use case scenario for this. It can get way more in depth. It's going to prove that plan. And I know I'm short on time here. It's got about 6 minutes left, but it's going to just read through this very complex technical document, about all these, responses and things like it's going to give me the big picture. Here's simple, plain English breakdown of what this could do. What an MCP is, it's a little helper, what the tool will do for you, breaks it down. I'm like, oh man, this is great. Now I want to share this with my team. And I just want to do it right from here. So I'm going to say, okay, this is good stuff. I need to send this to my team. Right? So it gave me that. I'm just going to say, okay, perfect. I love it. I want to share this with my team. Put together an email for me explaining how we can use this. Just approve this plan, or I can change the plan. I'm going to go through. I'm just going to create a quick email. I can continue to iterate on this further, right? I can say after this, I can copy this right to my email, send it out. I say, okay, this is great. Now I want to create a blog post on this. Create a blog post for you. It'll give me the plan. I can modify the plan if I want to. And And then it'll create me a blog post. I can just copy right in my blog post. I can continue to iterate off the information I can get from this page. Or I could say, hey, I want more articles on this. It'll actually search. It'll open a new window here in this kind of container, because it'll kind of keep it containerized so it doesn't have access to all my tabs. I can go on for this for hours, but fundamentally, it's just a really great tool for deep diving on the web, right in the tools you're already working with, continue to iterate, get more information, make that information useful in other ways.
Now, Randy, I noticed that you're using the Opus model for this. Is that a particular reason you're using Opus versus, say, Sonnet?
That's a great question. Now, Opus is a bit more expensive from a token standpoint. In other words, I blow through, but it's a deeper reasoning tool. It's a deeper reasoning. Sonnet would be great for this, or even Haiku. Some of the just basic tasks, you can use some of the other language models. I didn't want to get into that here. It's kind of deeper than, but there's different language models for different things. Opus is my go-to, just because it's a deeper reasoning modeling tool. It gives me kind of the best responses, although it is expensive from a usage standpoint.
Interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. With that, Nathan, I'll turn it back over to you.
All right, the last thing that we want to do today, and I'm taking a quick look. I don't see any questions in the Q&A log, but we do want to offer a couple of things to you. We already mentioned a couple of times about our upcoming webinar on Tuesday, May 19th, and it'll be, the fan favorites, Randy and Jared, will be back on stage to talk about from idea to app, when to use vibe coding, when to call an expert. And so I want to extend that invitation for you to get registered for that live webinar right now. Click that QR code. And then Jared, if you want to say a word about contacting Raven Automation in general and how to engage with the fine folks over there.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for throwing that QR code up there. If you're looking to figure out how to move forward with your business and really get your AI initiatives off the ground, I would just tell you to scan the QR code and book some time with us. We could talk about our AI Jumpstart program and what that enablement workshop looks like for you. Anyone that participates in that workshop will also receive a roadmap that they can apply towards their AI initiatives, whether you work with us after that fact or not. So check out the website, schedule some time to talk with us, and we'll be happy to fill you in on what we can do to help get your business moving forward.
All righty, folks. Well, thank you so much for stopping by today and spending time with us. Randy, love being able to present with you. Jared, thanks so much for being our handsome host.
Thank you guys
for taking good care of us today.
Made this webinar easy.
Love it. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
See you guys later.
See you guys.